This is Phil Woolery with Purdue Extension, and today I'm going to talk to you about uses for fall leaves in your garden. Fall leaves can be a beautiful part of the landscape. However, they're eventually going to fall off the trees, and then you'll have to find a way to deal with them. Most cities and towns will have curbside leaf pickups, but if you live out in the country, you're going to have to find a different way. If you only have a few leaves in your yard, then simply mowing it with a lawnmower can easily chop those leaves up into small pieces where they can easily break down and be incorporated back into the soil, act as a fertilizer for your yard. However, if you have a large tree that's going to put out a lot of leaves, those leaves can form kind of more of a dense mat over your turf, and that could smother the grass. So in that situation, we're going to have to look at other means for dealing with them. It will also depend on what types of leaves you have. Things like maple, tulip tree, or birch, those leaves are kind of very relatively thinner and easier to break down. So they'll break down faster, easier, compared with leaves like oaks. Oaks are very kind of thick leaves, and it takes them longer to break down. So you might be able to get away with kind of mowing over some of your maple leaves that break down pretty fast, but those oak leaves are much tougher and will stick around a lot longer. So here are a couple ways we can use these excess leaves in our garden. One is as a mulch. So mulches are good for placing around plants and trees to help keep down weeds and also conserve moisture. You might want to chop them up because if we just pile them around here, the tree, they can easily blow away in the wind. So if you chop them up, for instance, like with a lawnmower first, and then place them around your use as a mulch, then they're more likely to stay put. One kind of downside is these leaves as a mulch. They break down a lot slower as compared to like if you have a wood chip mulch. Those will last longer. So these will break down relatively quickly. Another use for fall leaves is as insulation. So if you have sensitive plants that need some winter protection, you can cover them up with these leaves, and that extra insulation will protect them from some of the worst cold of the winter. Some examples might be if you have a strawberry bed, these leaves will work just fine instead of using straw. Or if you have some perennial plants that are planted in pots and need some winter protection, mounting some leaves around those can give them that. So the other use for fall leaves in the garden is as compost. So compost is when we take organic matter like leaves and we let it break down, and once it gets about the consistency of, it looks kind of like soil, we can add that to a garden, and that will improve the soil by increasing the amount of water the soil can hold and giving some nutrients to that soil as well. So it's kind of a long-term plan to help improve your garden soil. For using leaves as compost, one thing you want to do is probably chop them up. Like use a mower to chop these up, and once they're in small pieces, they can more easily break down. So doing that will help speed up the composting process. If you would like more information on composting, I'll put some links below. So if you have any other ideas or ways you use leaves in your garden, leave them in the comments below, and I'll talk to you again soon.